Do you sometimes feel that just you have too much to do, too much in your head, too much in your mind, too much weight to lift up, too much weight on your shoulders? Whereas I'm going to propose something different, something that can really alleviate and give you relief to all that extra weight, to all those activities, to all the things that are in our to-do list. And that is a simple principle to remember. And that is, are you ready? Less is more. Yes, we always think that adding more stuff is going to make our lives easier. But what about less is more? What about thinking, what can I give up? What can I remove from my to-do list? What are the things that I don't need anymore in my closet? That kind of like minimalistic thinking, a minimalistic being, a minimalistic decorating and everything else opens up a space. And opening up space in our lives gives us room to connect, to reconnect with ourselves, to reclaim our power, and to feel that space, that separation between our outer shell, that is our bodies, and ourselves. And that in itself has an incredible power to makes us feel complete, whole again, and at peace, and be able to flow with ease through life. So the question today is there anything in your life that you feel that is just becoming too much, too heavy? Maybe you're studying too much. Maybe you're trying to lose too much weight. Maybe you're trying to add too many nutrients to your diet, too many pills, too many vitamins, and really your digestive system doesn't recognize any of those, and many times are synthetic stuff. Or maybe you're having food that is just too processed. What about less? What about just working our way down to what will be a very basic minimum on many aspects of our lives? I'm not talking only in our professional life, but also in our fitness, in our nutritional life. We sometimes want to add too much protein, and sometimes striking a balance, that middle ground, is what really works best. So if you feel you're stuck in a situation where you're not moving along, and I give you my example. When I broke my wrist, I went to a cardiologist, I went to many doctors to assess why at the age of 50, at that time, I'm almost 57, at the age of 50, they detected that I had basically a deficiency in vitamin D. That is because I was born in a Latin country with a lot of exposure to sun, and being Hispanic and then moving to a Nordic country like this where the sun today is sunny, but usually we don't see the sun. And when we do see it in the 9 months that the cold weather lasts, the hottest spell since the beginning of fall until it really warms up in the summer, the sun is not strong enough because it's really close to the north hemisphere, right? So therefore, people like me with my origin, we tend to really quickly become vitamin D deficient. I didn't know that. So I started adding more. Well, that was too much. So my body started having symptoms. And I realized just a bit is enough, but I don't need to add so much, because in the summer months, I can get my supply of vitamin D by exposure to the sun, which is the best way to get it. But the other thing I learned when I fractured and I had all my surgeries and they reconstructed my wrist is that I had to also add weight to create resistance in my bones. And then I started adding too much weight. And then I got in trouble because then my joints were hurting and my knees were hurting. So then I found that by removing weights and just jumping up and down and landing on my feet really hard at the center of my body, that was equal to lifting really very heavy weights. And that did not have the damage and the really negative effect that lifting really heavy weights had. So there's always a balance. There's always situations that we get in trouble. I also added way too much food and way too much protein in the plant-based mode, but it's still too much for my intestines that are long and intertwined, and that created chaos in my system. So then all of a sudden, I didn't have too much energy. I had too little energy. So then I had to readjust. So the question is there anything in your life that you feel there's just too much of this, too much of that? I have too many books on the shelf. I have too much clothing in my closet. Whatever it is, can you consider maybe one item at a time, removing and seeing what space that opens up? in our minds, in our hearts, in our dreams, in our goals, the same thing. Sometimes when we try to be too expansive and achieve too much, we end up doing nothing. So this is a good opportunity to do a cleanse of all those things and do a reassessment and see how that formula of less is more would apply in your life. I know I'm going to be doing the same. And I know that if you do the same and you simplify your life and you minimize things so you have more space to be you, to reconnect with yourself and to bring about the best in you and your inner brilliance and manifest it to the world, this place will be a brilliant, beautiful, beautiful place. So I hope you're going to do that. I trust 100% you will. I will be doing the same. And remember that together we're stronger, so that all those aspects of the wheel of your life are in sync and you strike a balance and you feel that your life can flow with peace and ease. But you can do all this yourself simply with mindfulness and awareness, which is like the flashlight that brings clarity in your life and will realign you with the real, true essence of who you are. And if any of this resonates with your heart, with your mind, with your soul, with your body, please connect with me, share, comment below, and also subscribe. And in the meantime, come back for more videos. And I wish you love, peace, namaste, and thank you for watching. See you next time.